verse 4. Job became a business star by trading divine secrets. And he told us what that secret was in the same chapter, down to verse 18. He said, he prospered because he delivered the poor that cried. He was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. He delivered the poor out of the hand of him that is stronger than him. The cause he knew not, he searched out. He was lost in the practice of giving and receiving, and God prospered him to the point that he became the greatest of all men in the East. He was a businessman. He was offering sacrifices to God every day. Job 1:1-3, he became the greatest. Job 29, verse 4-18, he had the secret he was trading that brought the greatness in him out. And that is what it takes. Nobody can access prosperity in the kingdom outside the engagement of the covenant. It's impossible. It is impossible. It is impossible. It is not a law that is optional. It is a covenant that is obligatory. You can't access it without it. He said, if any man will break the covenant, he must first be able to stop the sun and the moon from showing up. Jeremiah 33, verse 20-25. The Lord said to me on that wonderful day, 22nd of March 1982, he said, every time you look up and you see the sun, then know that my covenant is enforced. And you look up in the night to see the moon, then know that my covenant is enforced. Except my covenant be not with the day and with the night. And if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven, then may also my covenant with my servant David be broken. Very clear. The covenant of prosperity is unbreakable. And when you attempt to break the unbreakable, you are broken. It's unbreakable. God will never require donations. Donations are for the poor. People who have things to do and don't know have what to do it. You donate to assist them. God said, if I were hungry, would I have asked you? The 1,000 rand support the 1,000, he's their mine. Even if I have a need, you are not qualified to be consulted. I just talk about consultants now. Can God consult with you? I say, come, I have this problem. What can you do? Some of us have some toddlers, babies at home. Do you ever tell them, you see, the economic crunch is here. So many things are happening. Jobs are happening. I just need your input. What can I do now? The boy will tell you, let's play. I don't understand what you are saying. There's no crunch here. Doesn't know. That is how insignificant you and I are with God. There is no day God will consult with us to meet his need. So it will be an insult to be donating to God. The word donation is to the poor. That's why we have donor nations and poor nations. Amen. God will never need what I have for anything, but I will always need God for everything. That is one statement that set me on motion in my given life. It's never been stressful because I'm not giving to someone who is in need. I'm giving to someone who will meet my needs. That is the covenant in a nutshell. Who, therefore, does God bless? Who does God bless? Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, that greatly delights himself in his commandments, wealth and riches shall be in his house. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. His seed shall also be mighty upon the earth. Psalm 112, verse 1 to 3. Now, who does God bless? Everywhere you see the word, the fear of the Lord. Let me quickly help us here. The fear of the Lord, simply interpreted from scriptures, means the love of God. It means the love of God. Let me try to do that with a few scriptures. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. Psalm 25, verse 14. And we saw God saying, I do not call you servants anymore, but friends, because the servant does not know what his master does, but all that I've heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him. So is the secret of the Lord with them that love him. Now let's look at some practical illustrations. Look at a man by name David. David was a man after God's own heart. He had unusual revelation. I have more understanding than all my teachers, because thy commandments are my meditation. Psalm 119, verse 97 to 100. Then we are told, and David, being a prophet, and knowing afar off, the lover will always know what others can know, and knowing afar off, as chapter 2, verse 30. So we saw the lover flowing in access to God's secrets. Now hear this now. Think of a man by name Paul. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. I'm crucified with Christ, yet not I, but Christ that lives in me. Now, what shall separate us from the love of God that's in Christ Jesus? Tribulation, things present, things to come? Yea, in all this is more than conquerors. Paul was a love addict. And Paul said, and now because of the abundance of revelation given me, 2 Corinthians 12:7. Paul was a man of abundance of revelation because he was a man of deep-seated love. Deep-seated love of God in his heart. So if the fear of the Lord is your access to God's secrets, and the love of God is what qualifies you to unlimited access to God's secrets, then simply the fear of the Lord can be interpreted, and is interpreted as the love of God. I hope you understand what I'm saying. The love of God. And we said also yesterday that the love of God is the fulfilling of the law. So in case you want to think, okay, the fear of God means fulfilling the law. He said, whosoever walks in love has fulfilled the law. Romans 13, 8 and 10. Has fulfilled the law. So when we are looking at Psalm 112, now let's read it this way. Blessed is the man that loves the Lord, that greatly delights himself in his commandments. Blessed is that man. So God's blessings is the exclusive reserve of his lovers. When you are in love, because it is your love motivated giving that qualifies for blessings. Though I part with all my goods to feed the poor, and I even offer my body to be burnt, and I have no charity, it profits me nothing. 1 Corinthians 13:3. So it is the love of God that empowers the law to produce in your life. So important. Who does God bless? God blesses his lovers. And when you sow love, it will be validated by your way of giving. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. He said, give to prove the sincerity of your love. 2 Corinthians 8:8. So giving is a way of validating your love for God. Your love for God. Your love for God. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, that greatly delights himself in his commandment. That greatly delights himself in his commandments. Wealth and riches shall be in his house. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. His seed shall be mighty upon earth. His generation shall be blessed. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endureth forever. Think of the man by name Job. Job was a man that feared God and eschewed evil, a perfect man. That's the introduction of Job in chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. And now in chapter 13, verse 15, Job said, even though he slay me, I will yet trust him. And Sons of Solomon 8:6, he said, love is as strong as death. Job was so madly in love that when his wife said, curse God and die, he said, why are you speaking as one of those foolish men? I'm deadly in love. When you are deadly in love with God, you prosper without stress. So yesterday's teaching will be a very strong foundation for what we are doing right now. Who does God bless? God blesses a man that greatly delights himself in his commandments, a man that does it because he loves him. In John 14:21, whosoever has my commandment and keepeth it, he is he that loves me. And he that loves me will love of my Father, and I will love him, and I will manifest myself to him. When you are in love with the Father, John 14:21, you obey his commandments with delight, because they are not designed against you. You know every of his commandment is in your favor, because you believe he loves you, and because you love him, you are not suspicious. Now see, I hope God is not trying to play on me around here. Many are so suspicious about the covenant. I hope the pastor is not trying to get some money into church because of some project we have, because the preaching this morning was so hard. They are suspicious. They are suspicious of the truth, that it was targeted at ripping them, if I may use that word. Love is the cure for suspicion. Are you in love with God? Whatever he says is not misinterpreted as to paint him in a bad picture. Why should the almighty God ask me to give? Because that is the covenant for him to continue to bless you. That's why. Who does God bless? If you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God and observe to do all that he commands you, then all these blessings will come to you and overtake you. God's blessings is for those who are committed to walking in the covenant, in obedience to the terms of the covenant. Blessed is he that feareth God and greatly delights himself in his commandment. If you hearken to my voice diligently and observe to do all I tell you to do, I will bless you in your going out, in your coming in. I will set you up on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings will come to you and overtake you. I think you are long overdue for this overtaking dimension of blessing. The blessings that will be running after you and overtake you and say, stop, this is for you. Stop, this is for you. Stop, this is for you. May you see that in your favor. May you see that in your favor. Job 22 and verse 21. It said, acquaint thyself now with God, and then you'll be at peace. Thereby shall good come unto you. I'm reading 21 down to 27. He said, Receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in your heart. If you return to the Almighty, you shall be built up. Then shall you put iniquity far from your tabernacle. You won't play tricks. You'll be straight. You will take delight in integrity. You won't outsmart somebody. You won't cut down somebody. Nobody needs to die for you to rise. You know, people only steal what they cannot imagine they can acquire. The reason you don't steal a biro is because you know you can acquire a biro. People steal cars because they can't imagine what they can write a car on their own. The things people corner, they are things they cannot envision that they can acquire. You shall put iniquity far from your tabernacle. Then shall you lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brook. Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have what? Plenty of silver. This is so important. And when men shall say, they say, casting down, then you shall say what? They say lifting up. That means I will distinguish you in the time of crisis. When everything is burning down, you'll be flying higher. I will distinguish you in the time of the crisis. Now, you see, this is so important. Receive, I pray thee, the law. The law that forms the anchor of the covenant is the law of giving and receiving. And then you lay up his words in your heart. That means you do it according to scriptural guidelines. And what do I mean? Your givings must be done willingly. Come and say willingly. Otherwise it will not be acceptable to God. 2 Corinthians 8:12. If there be first a willing mind, it is acceptable according to what a man has, not according to what he has not. So your giving must be done according to scriptural guidelines. Number one principle is giving willingly. Anything you are forced to give is never acceptable in the good ground of the kingdom, so it's lost. If the ground does not receive your seed, then you are not to expect any harvest. It's lost. I have never given under duress in my life. I give with delight because I know it holds no future if it is not done willingly. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 9:17, if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, I'm only having fun. Willingly. Moses said, if anyone is of a willing heart, let him bring an offering to the Lord. And the Bible said, and they came. Exodus 35 verse 4, verse 16 and verse 22. Whosoever is a willing mind, let him bring an offering. And they came, and they came, and they came, and they came, until they said, it's enough. They came and they came. Why are they coming and coming? Because they are being blessed and blessed. So, oh, this is so wonderful. So they came again. He said, no, it's enough. We have enough. Because they were doing it willingly, they were being rewarded lavishly. Can I hear your amen? When you are giving to the poor, do it willingly. You are not the solution to the poor man's life. God has somebody else if you are not there. So why are you doing it as if you are the savior of the man? You are not. There are people that I felt like doing some things for some times back, and then before I would do it, somebody else has done it. God said, you are not the only one I'm looking at. I have many people around that I have positioned them to service the needs of these ones. So if you don't jump on time, somebody else takes it. The destiny of the poor is not in your hand. It is your privilege to give to him so that you won't lack in your life. That's it. He that giveth to the poor shall not lack. Proverbs 28 and verse 27. Shall not lack. Shall not lack. So let's do it willingly. The more willingly we do it, the more lavishly we are rewarded. Number two, let's do it cheerfully. Come and say cheerfully. Let's do it cheerfully. Let's do it excitedly. Do your giving with a smile on your face. Anytime you are not cheerful, don't drop your offering in church. It's a waste. Why? Because when joy withers from the heart of man, their harvest perishes. Joel chapter 1 verses 11 and 12. He said, all the harvest of the field is perished because joy is withered away from the hearts of men. Do it cheerfully. Do it cheerfully. Do it cheerfully. That makes it work. That is what makes it work. That is what makes it work. Number 3, do it in love. Do it in love. Solomon loved the Lord, and the king went to Gibeon and sacrificed there, and 1,000 burnt offering did Solomon sacrifice upon the altar. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 3 to 14. Now, Solomon loved the Lord. Do it in love. And then you are sure of returns. Do it in love, and you are sure of returns. The same thing with 1 Corinthians 13 that I referred to the other time, and verse 3. It profits you nothing when it's not done in love. And then, of course, number 4, do it sacrificially. Do it sacrificially. Don't give God tips. Don't give him leftovers. He said, honor the Lord with thy substance. Substance, not leftover. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty. So the quality of your seed in the natural, in agriculture, determines the quality of the harvest. Say with me, quality. So good farmers will always separate the best of their seeds for next season's planting. That's why people go for hybrid seeds today for accelerated growth and returns. Honor the Lord with thy substance. Hear what he said in Malachi 1 and verse 6 to 9. A son honoreth his father, and a servant feareth his master. If I be your father, where is my honor? And if I be your master, where is my fear? You have the fatted calf among your flock, but you have brought to me the blind and the lame. Take that to your governor. Will they receive it from your hand? So God does not take any nonsense. God takes substance. What does he take? Substance is not in terms of volume, it's in terms of quality. It's in terms of what? Yes. There was a time in my life, if I gave $1 into an offering, angels would be dancing. Because that $1 was heavier than my sasos. Somebody hear what I'm saying? But if I give $1 now, they won't take it. They say, look at that poor boy. What does he think he's doing? Is this a seed? No, it's a trash. By virtue of his blessings on my life now, that's not a seed, that's a trash. Somebody dropped a mite, they call it a widow's mite, and Jesus said he gave the greatest. Why? That was all our living. So it's not defined in terms of volume. So let no rich man begin to carry his chest. I gave 1 million from where? Is it not from what he gave you? So what's the pride about it? All the days of my life and when my time is up, no special seat for anybody in our church. We have come to the Most High and we are all his children. So settle down and receive the word. Amen. It's so important. There is somebody there that's dropping just 1 penny. And goes, what? He had a whole penny to drop? I will bless him. And somebody drops 1,000. One what? 1,000. From what I did for him. Does he know arithmetic? Let's commit to substance. Now, let me tell you this. My entire income for a year, 1987, is less than what I give in any offering today. My entire salary in a whole year is less than what I drop in any offering today, in any service. As God has blessed everyone, even so, let him give. So you give your size. The moment you see an elephant excreting like a cow, it's about to die. And you see a cow excreting like a cat, it's on its way to the grave. How many understand what I'm talking about? Okay. Let's give substance, not leftover. And number 5, give tirelessly. Give what? For you shall reap it only in due season, if you faint not. Galatians 6:10. Give tirelessly. Until your cloud is full, your rain will not fall. Give tirelessly. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1 to 3. If the cloud be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. Cast your bread upon the waters. After many days, it has no date. After many days, it will come back again. After many days. Some people have done it for 28 days. Remaining only 2 more days. They say, I'm sorry, we are not doing it again. And when they come and start from day 1 again. By the time they get to 27, they say, I don't think it will work this time. I'm not doing it again. There are many again and again. Because they are not consistent in their covenant work, they cannot experience the manifestations of his blessings. Let's be consistent. Those are principles that guide your given life. Now, let me also say this here. It will be a lot of blessing to us. Abraham became the symbol of blessings for all generations. For how many generations? The Bible calls him Abraham the blessed. That you might be blessed with the blessings of the blessed Abraham. Abraham is the symbol of blessing for all generations. How did he become that symbol of blessing? You remember the word says, look unto Abraham your father and to Sarah that bare thee. I called them alone and I blessed them and increased them. For the Lord shall comfort Zion the way he comforted Abraham. He will comfort all our waste places. He will turn our wilderness into Eden and our desert into the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness only shall be heard in her. Thanksgiving and the voice of melody. Isaiah 51 verse 1 to 3. Now, he said, look up to Abraham, understudy his steps. If you want the kind of blessings, walk in those steps, and I will pour the same other blessings on your life. Who was Abraham? We saw Abraham, he was blessed, yes. How did he sustain the blessing generationally? Chapter 14 of Genesis, verse 20. Abraham gave the tithe of all. He did what? The tithe. He gave what? The tithe of all. Abraham gave the tithe of all. Abraham gave the tithe of all. And when Abimelech wanted to give him something for the captives, he said, I will not take anything from you lest you say you make Abraham rich. Abraham was so covenant conscious. There was no walking off the track lest you say you make Abraham rich. Verse 23. Abraham was too sure that the covenant in which he was walking guarantees supernatural blessings. Come on, say too sure. Say it loud, too sure. Abraham was a tither. Let me say this here at this point. Tithing is the number one giving obligation in the covenant of prosperity. Number one giving obligation in the covenant of prosperity. Number one giving obligation. Why? It is the key to an open heaven order of blessings. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, and prove me now if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing till you will not have enough room to contain it. Malachi 3:10. It is your key to an open heaven order of blessing. I saw it March 22, 1982. I have been an excited tither from that time on. Before I became a pastor, I was a tither. So you can't blame God for blessing. A tither will never be tired of tithing, who is tithing according to scriptural principles for this number of years. You shouldn't blame God for doing it. Abraham was too sure. I'm sure God, who speaks to Abraham, spoke to him. Abraham, you want sustainable blessings. Give the tithe of everything you are blessed with. And Abraham gave the tithe of all. And blessed be Abraham of God, possessor of heaven and earth. Abraham's giving gave him a place not only on earth but also in heaven. Jesus said, I saw Lazarus at the foot of Abraham. And the rich fool was saying, can you send Lazarus so he can drop some water on my tongue? I'm dying. Abraham, the blessed, was a tither. That is the most difficult giving to many people. And I can't tell why. Somebody gave you 10. He said, okay, give me 1 so you can connect with my supply channel. He said, no, 1 is too much. It's me who gave you the 10, or are you not aware? He said, no, I know, but 1. Don't you know my needs? Check to yourself. This is my record. The bills I need to pay. God, do you know mathematics? Check it. God says, small boy, you think you can outsmart me? I gave you 10. And I said, the covenant is that you return 1. So I can be sure that the 10 I sent, you got it. Amen. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you don't send the 10, God believes that you have changed your address. And so before you can receive the next blessing, you must let him know where you live. Can I hear your amen? That's why non-tithers live a miserable life. God has lost their address and is waiting for them to send in the new address. So until they reopen their tithing covenant, their blessing channel is disconnected. Their blessing channel is disconnected. I told you last night that all spiritual laws are universal. That you live in UK doesn't make a difference. Even if you live in the White House, it doesn't make a difference. There is no nation where there are no beggars. And there is no nation on earth where there are no paupers. There is no nation that is immune to poverty. Poverty is a universal citizen. It lives in every nation. It doesn't require visa. It's everywhere. There is no immigration law against it. There are people in this city now who don't know where to sleep tonight. Abraham was a tither. And if you are Abraham children, what do? Do the works of Abraham. John 8:39. It's not singing the song of Abraham. Abraham blessings are mine. I'm blessed in the morning. Good. Can you go to a bank to make a drawing where you are not banking? By singing. And you get to the counter, Abraham's blessing are mine. They say Abraham has no account here. Amen. Oh. Tithing is the gateway to kingdom prosperity. If you are not a tither, you don't have the key to an open heaven. Abraham was a tither. Then in chapter 18, we saw Abraham the liberal. He saw 3 men under a tree. He ran after them. Oh, please come. If I find favor in your eyes, let me bring you something to eat, to drink, and so on and so forth. Genesis chapter 18, verse 1 to 10. And so Abraham ran to the tent. He told Sarah, we got another visitor. Please get ready. Make the cake. Let me keep the kid. And they started preparing for people they didn't know. Abraham, the liberal. And haven't you heard, the liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall himself be watered unto. Proverbs 11:24 and 25. There is he that scattereth and yet has more. There is he that withholdeth more than is required, he tends more unto penury. Abraham was a liberal giver. He entertained angels unaware. A supernatural need was met in his life. An obstacle was broken in his life. Sarah had a prophecy. You are going to conceive and bring forth a son by this time next year, according to the time of life. And that happened. Abraham was a liberal giver. Abraham was a succorer of the needy. Abraham was an entertainer of strangers. Abraham was not closing his door to the needs of others. He opened it wide to them. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall himself be watered unto. And finally we saw Abraham, the sacrificant. We saw him in chapter 22 of Genesis, verse 1 to 18. Bring to me Isaac, your son whom thou lovest, and offer them unto me for a burnt offering. And Abraham rose up early in the morning. And he wasn't playing games. He walked 3 days to get to that mountain. And he didn't only get there, he bound his son. When he was leaving, he told his servants, you wait here. I and the son will go up to the mountain to worship. I'm going to worship God with this boy. And he bound his son, and he took a knife. Lord, I thank you. Hold it. Now I know that thou fearest me. That became an altar of generational turnaround. That's where God swore the blessings that all the forces on the earth today could not subdue. Israel is an unbeatable nation. Forget it. There's a powerful covenant covering on that nation. He said, and your seed shall possess the gates of their enemy. That's why they closed Gaza at will. Shut it down and hold the key and walk away. Generational blessing. And your seed shall be mighty upon the earth. Can you ignore the Jews? For what? 7.5 million people only. Exporting food to almost every nation, fruits and flowers from the desert. I was there last week. Now, you see, one of them told me, he said, they have not really had rain in 6 years. Except drizzles. They are even thinking of importing water now to tell you how scarce water was. Or can any nation beat them in agriculture? I told my daughter to help me buy some watermelon. He said, I can't carry it. The watermelon was like a cake. Everybody that has any intellect fears that nation. By a strong covenant covering and positioning through the sacrifice of a man. I must tell you this, friends. These are very vital secrets of Abraham's order of blessing. He was a tither. He was a liberal giver. He was given to sacrifice, and the heavens opened. I know the altar of sacrifice is the altar of turnaround. There are certain things in your life that when God places a demand on you for it, and you subscribe to it, He swears a blessing on you. 1987, the Lord said to me, my son, He pointed to it through my window, give me that car. Will God ride a car? No. So the car went off. And the Lord said to me, same day, my son David, even if you don't want to be rich, it's too late. Very clear statement. It was no guesswork. Just one little thing that doesn't do anything to anybody. Will I ever give a testimony of a car in my life? No, I won't need it. I won't need to. It won't be a testimony. Every time God makes a demand on you, it's because he has something reserved for you. God is not a taskmaster. And the issue of sacrifice are on the platform of personal communications. God communicates with you what he expects of you at one time or another. And when you pass the test of sacrifice, you move into a realm of unending supplies. It works anywhere, it works every time. Who God blesses? God blesses those who love him and prove it by keeping his commandments. God blesses those who love him and prove it by keeping his commandments. This is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. 1 John 5:3. His commandments are not grievous. Now, number 2, why does God bless? I think we need to know that a bit this hour. Why does God bless? God said to Abraham, I'm going to bless you and make you great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Why does God bless people? He blesses people so they can become a blessing. You are blessed to be a blessing, not a consumer. You are not blessed to be a possessor. You are not blessed to be an accumulator. You are blessed to be a blessing. So the level to which you are committed to be a blessing will determine the limits of the blessings you can enjoy. You are blessed to be a blessing. I have this story of this elephant that I came across 1997. It has stayed with me ever since that time. In this zoo, this elephant was said to consume 140 pounds of straw per day. How much? 140 pounds, not money, I mean weight. 140 pounds of straw he consumes per day. But he discharges 100 pounds of manure per day. You know what I mean by manure? It takes so much from the earth and gives so much back to the earth to stay alive. You are blessed to be a blessing. That's why there are too many miserable people today. They are like the story of the rich fool in the Bible. They have become anointed accumulators. They just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate until God said, I don't think you need to be on earth anymore. This thing needs to go out. These things you have acquired need to go out. God wanted to release the food this man has carried, because he wasn't selling in the market, he wasn't selling to anybody. This man spoke only of himself. There was no sign that he was married or he has children. I will say to my soul rest, all other can die. That's it. That was the man. He was not a blessing, so he was choked by the blessing. That's why when you are not excreting on your own, they put you on a machine to excrete, because you have to excrete to stay alive. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? It is that machine you are on here tonight. Amen. You are blessed to be what? A blessing. You will never be blessed beyond your commitment to be a blessing. If you want enlargement, start enlarging your affection to bless mankind in one way or another. And God said to Abraham in chapter 22 of Genesis, and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. In thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. That is fulfilled in the literal Jewish people. they have about 8 million on the face of the earth and 7.5 million that live in Israel. Almost every nation of the earth has its own Jewish community. And they are never a burden. They are just breaking new ground. So it is with the spiritual Israelite. You have a mandate to be a blessing. You are not here to be a burden. You are an asset to your generation. And the only way to actualize that is to be a giver with a vision to be a blessing. You are blessed to be a blessing. That is why God blesses his people. That's why the Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive. Because your being a blessing will command more blessings of God on your life. And I close finally. How does God bless? How does God bless? There are 3 channels of returns for your givers. In Malachi 3:10, prove me now if I will not open you the windows of heaven. And in Genesis 7:11 and 12, when the windows of heaven were opened, rain poured out. And we all understand that rain is a kind of the Holy Spirit. And among the job that rain does, or the Holy Spirit does, is to quicken your understanding. To quicken my understanding. Isaiah 11 verse 3. And it shall make you of quick understanding. You will have divine ideas. So your giving qualifies you access to divine ideas. Say with me, divine ideas. Let's look at the covenant fathers. Abraham built the first cattle ranch in Bible history. Abraham dug wells. It's the first time we mention wells in scriptures. Now, Abraham dug wells. Instead of rearing the cattle about looking for where water was, he dug and dug until he found water. And he did not only find water to water his cattle, he found water to water the pasture for them. So Abraham built a pasture and had water for supplies to his cattle. So he took over the cattle market. All the other cattle farmers, they had to go looking for them wherever they could be to buy a cattle, to buy a cow. But Abraham had a cattle ranch. His cows were fatter because they are not trekking around the desert. 2, they were well watered. And 3, they can be located. So Abraham became very rich in silver, in cattle. In silver, in cattle, in silver and in gold. He became very rich in cattle. Very rich in cattle. They were produced at a higher rate. They were fresher and fatter. So they sell for more money. And it can be located. So he had it. And then we saw divine idea on display. We saw Isaac. He founded the first irrigation farming. There was famine in the land. Everybody was praying for water, for rain. While they were praying, Isaac was digging. Isaac was digging. Isaac was digging. He dug, angry people filled it. He dug again, they filled it. He dug until he weeded them out. And Isaac had the first irrigation farming system. And the Bible said he became the breadwinner of the land. He reaped that year 100-fold. And the man became great. And the Philistines envied him by divine ideas. By divine ideas. Divine ideas. He dug wells. He found water. He watered his field. He became the breadwinner of the land. You know, people give, but because they don't know how the returns come, they keep waiting forever. Returns come largely through divine ideas. Jesus knew what to do to feed 5,000 people. He himself knew what he would do. He had access to divine ideas on the way to feeding the 5,000 men minus women and children. And you know, women will be more in any crusade than men. So let's assume there were 10,000 people. Jesus fed all of them because he knew what he would do. To every covenant practitioner here, in the midst of this economic crunch, God will be showering divine ideas on you. God will be showering divine ideas on you. Abraham knew what to do. And then we saw Jacob, the first successful animal husbandry in scriptures. He said, okay, let's beat Laban in the game. He made stripes on polar trees and put them in the water troughs, so that when the cattle come in for watering, he causes them to mate before the polar trees, and they gave birth to young ones after that order. How did he get it? Divine idea. Genesis 30, verse 37 to 43. Divine ideas. Show them the way to escape from the captivity of Laban. Divine idea beat Laban hands down. Divine ideas. And you know, the man Jacob was also a tither. They inherited tithing from Abraham. So he was entitled to the outpouring of the rain of divine ideas from heaven. He knew what to do. Friends, watch out for divine ideas. Let your giving life begin to deliver through the appropriate channels. Divine ideas will be visiting you in very strange orders. Can I hear your loudest amen? Divine ideas will be pouring out upon you in very strange dimensions. In very strange dimensions. In very strange dimensions. You remember the man called Uzziah in scriptures. Uzziah was 16 years old when he began to reign. And it was a revelation of Zechariah, who had understanding the visions of God. And as long as he saw the Lord, God made him to prosper. 2 Chronicles 20.